Hey guys, it's Amy. Today's supposed to be a Witchy Wednesday, but it's actually Thursday because we had a lot going on yesterday, especially with National Puppy Day and Lilybug having her puppies. She actually had 3 of them, but one of them didn't make it, but she's got 2 healthy, beautiful little silver looking puppies, and we're really excited about that. But today's Witchy Wednesday is actually going to be about Easter and that horrible debate that comes up every year that Christian witches have to deal with. Easter and Ostara. The first is that Easter meaning Ishtar or being said like Ishtar. Like there's a picture that's going around that I'm pretty sure everybody has seen. And if I can get it to work, it'll be right here. But you know, Ishtar is said Easter, and then there's the Easter is actually Ostara, and Ostara is about the goddess Ishtar, which is, but it's actually said, like when you look up the pronunciation, it's said either Iastra or Ustra, which can sound like Easter. I'm not gonna get into like the semantics and the general like wordplay because that's not my forte per se, but especially the picture of the relief with the Easter equals Ishtar or is said Ishtar, that's completely false. Okay, number one, guys, there can be multiple holidays within a season. Okay, just because no one has complete just ownership of nature. So yes, okay, you have specific natural occurrences like the equinox and the solstices. Those are natural occurring things that have become holidays. And the pagans and the Christians, no one has direct ownership of that. So when you have that, there can be multiple holidays within that period of time, just like Christmas. It doesn't have to be there was an original holiday and then we took it and turned it into this holiday. When people convert or have, when people converted from one religion to another, a lot of times they brought their more secular traditions with them. And so there became an amalgamation. And so some of the pagans, when they converted into Christianity, brought that with them, and it goes vice versa. When Christian families decide to go pagan or welcome in pagan members of their family, they will take on the pagan people have a tendency to take on Christian rites and things like that, but it's become so muddled that no one really remembers where what came from and where it came from. And so when you get into Easter, you get into Ostara, which in all honesty, Ostara is a Wiccan Wheel of the Year holiday, which didn't come to being until maybe around in the 50s. The Wheel of the Year is part of the Wiccan basis. And so when you get into that, that's so much younger than the rest of it. Ostara being a goddess may have been older, but the actual celebration of Ostara on the spring equinox is a relatively new thing. So when you try to put up Easter is actually Ostara, well, no, that's not how that works, because Easter is way older than that. Now, when you start trying to say that Easter is originally a pagan holiday, that gets pretty bad. Because the original reasoning behind Easter is that it's the resurrection of our Savior. And he was our sacrificial lamb. He sacrificed himself so that we would be free to go to heaven, would be free of God's wrath to a certain extent. You know, he cleansed us with his blood. Okay, he cleansed us with his blood. Sorry, my phone, I sat on it funny and Siri was trying to talk to me. He cleansed us with his blood, and by sacrificing himself, he became our sacrificial lamb. Now, a lot of people don't realize is that this is, at this point in time, is actually Passover time. And that was the original Jewish area where, you know, blood over the door. We've all seen the Rugrats episode. You know you have. The Passover episode. If you haven't, you really should, because it's a really good rendition of that story. Okay. So, they sacrificed the lamb to be able to protect their firstborns from the plagues or the wrath of God. And so Jesus became that for us. And the position of Easter was to be put in Passover as an homage to the Jewish religion that we originally came from, Judaism. My brain is not working today, and I've got way too much going on in one big swirly massive wind. And so when I try to get it all out, it just tries to come out in one giant blob of words. You know, if I could just put those blob of words up on the screen, it'd be different. You just read them. So when you try to say that it's originally a pagan holiday, it's not. It's actually originally a Jewish holiday. And by saying it's a pagan holiday, you're completely erasing Judaism over here, which has a horrible time with that anyway. And so you don't want to get into that, because then you start getting accused of being anti-Semitic, and it becomes an entirely bigger can of worms that it goes over. So a lot of it that people try to come up with is like, well, what about the eggs? What about the bunnies? Those are fairly secular. Yes, they were used in fertility-based things in the pagan holiday. Which, when I keep talking about the pagan holiday, it's the spring equinox, not solstice, equinox. And what that is literally usually March 20th, 21st. And yes, if I'm remembering correctly, Easter is actually the Sunday after the full moon, after the equinox. And so, like last year, it was at the end of April, if I remember correctly. But because there was a full moon after the equinox this time, it's this week, or this weekend. So it can be close to the equinox, or it can be a complete month away from it, but it's still in the spring. And again, no one has ownership of nature, and so they don't have to... A lot of times when you had festivals back in the day, all you had was nature to decorate with. It's a complete logical assessment that they would use what was around them. And it's spring, so you've got baby chickens and bunnies, and animals are coming out, and pastel colors, and it's... And what happens is that it's really hard to market a guy dying on a cross. Have you seen the chocolate crosses that they have? It's really creepy, because I don't want to eat the thing that killed my Savior. It's just not something that's appealing to me. And so consumers are not really going to aim for that, but cute bunnies and eggs that you dye, those are much easier to sell to the masses. And so a lot of the natural things that were used in pagan rites are very much being used by big corporations. And it's not the Christians that are doing it, in all honesty. Most of it is just they can't sell Christianity on certain areas. You can sell baby Jesus all you want in December, but God dying on a cross is not your best bet, in all honesty, when you're trying to sell chocolate. So what it comes down to is that there are similarities, because when people converted, they would bring their own traditions with them, because that's part of their family, and it's perfectly okay for that to happen, but it will become part of the other religion in the process. So it becomes kind of a give and take. Nothing's stolen. That's the other thing. The word stolen. The word stolen denotes the idea that we as Christians took this holiday and you no longer have it. We made it this, but you still have your holiday. By putting up that we stole the holiday, it makes it seem like there is no holiday there. And by doing that, you are literally erasing your own holiday. If you want it to be more well known, then you need to do it. Celebrate your holiday. It's perfectly okay to celebrate your holiday. But like, when it comes down to it, if you're putting forth this idea that this holiday is stolen and you're trying to take it back, then you're actually erasing the holiday that is already there. You're making it more difficult to what am I trying to say? You're making it more difficult to have other people join in the worship when all they think is, oh, well, the Christians already stole it. It's been stolen, therefore it does not exist. It projects the idea that it doesn't exist anymore. That's why people are mind blown when they find out that people still worship Greek gods and things like that. Because you yourself are putting forth the idea that we stole everything, therefore you don't have it. But if you don't have it, then so taking it back means just saying that you have it. You know, it's perfectly okay to have separate holidays. You can celebrate, like I do, you can celebrate the spring equinox and then celebrate Easter completely separate. Or you can make an altar up that has for both of them. It's perfectly okay to respect the nature and the world around you and then respect your Savior. You know, as a Christian witch, you don't have to worry about separating them. And as a pagan, you can just do one. As a Christian, you can just do one. Just because they're in the same area does not mean that they're the same thing. You can have multiple holidays within a season. Within spring, you can have multiple holidays. It doesn't mean one is the other. Yes, they do have similar aspects, mainly because they are, they have similar aspects because they are shared between people and converted and things like that, but it doesn't mean that they're the same. And by no means are they the same whatsoever. Alright, I don't think I ever got into the Ishtar thing, which bothers me on a lot of levels because I'm not even entirely sure that's a relief of Ishtar in that photo. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that's a relief of Lilith. And the entire story of Ishtar has nothing to do with anything that is like Easter whatsoever. Like, the only thing that you can connect Ishtar to this season is the fact that she was a fertility goddess. Mainly, she was more recognized as love and war. She has an entire story. She has an entire mythos behind her. But people keep trying to fit her into this thing so that they can tell Christians, haha, you know, your religion's false. It's based off of our religion. Why? Why do you need to verify your religion or justify your religion by putting down another one? And the same goes for Christians. Why do you have to go, well, my religion is better than your religion? No, you know, it's your religion. It's a personal thing. And the only way that you're going to put forth the right idea about your religion is to stop being a jerk about it. Being a jerk about your religion is the quickest way to turn people off of your religion. You're not going to be able to roll into a place to be a missionary and be like, hey, you're all going to hell. How about you convert? That's not going to work. You're going to have to be friends. You're going to have to show them what it means to be your religion, to follow in Jesus' footsteps if you're a Christian. And by acting high and mighty, that is not how that's going to work. But the same goes with paganism too. You're not going to be able to get rid of these bad stereotypes if all you're doing is trying to put down Christians. If we could be nice to each other, maybe there would be a bigger form of acceptance and there would be a lot less horror between all of us. So this turned into a complete rant that I didn't mean to do. And it happens every single Easter. Every single Easter, especially when I was on Tumblr. It just blew my mind how many people would try it and just believe whatever they want. St. Patrick's Day was insane. It literally went from he ran the snakes out of Ireland to that meant he ran the pagans out of Ireland to, by the end of it, it was the complete genocide of the Druid people because they had snake tattoos. But logically that doesn't make sense because there are no snakes in Ireland on a scientific level. There just aren't, because it's not a place that they want to live. And so, in doing so, why would the Druids, who base all of their religion on the nature around them, have snake tattoos when they've never seen a snake? Ever. Snakes do not exist to them because they haven't traveled. They've only lived in Ireland. But it turned into the complete genocide of the people. It was insane to watch, and it happens every single holiday. If they can find a way to take it and turn it into you stole this from me, this is this, it becomes a big thing, and it's this big oppressive, look what you've done to us, you are horrible people. Pagans and Christians have gone back and forth so many times. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like who's had a worse life game. It's just like, oh, well, you killed our people in the Crusades. Yeah, well, you killed our Savior. And I know people are going to be like, oh, that's the Jewish people. Well, no, they asked for it, but the Roman pagans were the ones that delivered. So, in the end, you know, you ran Christians underground. Because you convinced everyone that we were cannibals because of our communion. We killed off your people before. I mean, it just, to convert you over here, it's been back and forth for so long that isn't it time that we acted like the bigger people and stopped it? As a person that bridges that gap between the two sides, it's really, really hard to do it because you get so much hate from both sides when all you're trying to do is be nice to both. So I guess what I'm saying is, 1, Easter isn't a pagan holiday. Sorry, guys. It may have pagan influences, but it's not. It is a Christian holiday. 2, be nice to each other. It's time to stop the Crusades. It's time to stop. It's time to start acting like human beings and treating each other like human beings, because that's what we are. And if your religions can't handle that, then you need to start questioning exactly how you're using your religion. All of you. Because Jesus straight up was like, I'm going to go hang out with the people that nobody likes. So... and y'all are all acting like you can't even go talk to people correctly. Come on. It's not that hard. It's just, it became a rant. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to rant. And I think I went like every direction, this way, that way. And just, it's exactly how it works. You have to take each post on Tumblr as it comes and try to differentiate exactly what they're trying to believe in. And it's amazing because apparently everything on the internet is true. It must be. They couldn't possibly have just put text over a picture of a relief of Lilith. No, that has to be Ishtar. And God forbid you use Wikipedia. Because, yeah, that's... because you can't edit those pages. Ugh. Anyway, to all of y'all, to all of you out there that are watching my video and just laughing at me while I rant about this, I hope you had a great spring equinox / Ostara, and I hope you have a great Easter too. Lots of candy for everybody. Anyway, guys, I'm actually fixing to go grocery shopping, so I will see y'all next week.